Hi. Unmute.
Hello.
Hi, DJ. Hi. Yeah?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hey, great to see you guys. How are you?
We are very fine. Yes, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. So you are all one studio, right?
Yes, the three of us. The three of us are the only members of one studio. I am Chinmay Deshpande.
I am Aniket and he's Chaitanya.
I'm Chaitanya.
Hi. Okay.
Hi.
So I will start Google live stream on Facebook.
Okay.
And you just decide who is talking, or you take turns.
I will probably take turns.
Okay, so basically the question is gonna be about you, about your inspiration, about artwork on auction, because we have 8. Your digital art, and then Nawras,
Yes.
and your future plans. So yeah. Okay, I'm starting live stream on Facebook in a few seconds.
Just a moment.
Also, the third person is not in the, somehow it would be nice to see you all 3, yeah? And now, yeah, do you see yourself in the screen? I would like you to have all
Yes,
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, just get cozy, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just a second, we are starting, so it takes time for me to write down everything.
Yes.
So you guys are based in India?
Yes, we are based in Maharashtra, state of India, and we are based in a very small city called Nagpur.
Okay.
Yes.
Also, it's always nice to show your artwork. So if you can bring it at some point to show some of your work.
Yeah, we can do that. So we have arranged all of our artworks behind us. So we are going to show you through all of them eventually. Yes.
Okay. And also, while I'm still starting, you should kind of decide not to speak all at once, because in the video it will be a little bit confusing.
That's okay.
I will tell you when we are live. In just 1 second. We are going.
Yes.
Sorry, I just want to share the link to your auction immediately.
Sure. Auction is dependent. Live auction. Okay.
And you can see in the chat, Nawras is talking to you, so just you can.
Okay.
Okay. So we are live. In 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so we are now live on Facebook. And
Okay.
we are starting our live interview series with Nawras Artists. And today, like basically, I'm introducing you first artist. This is one studio, so a collaboration of 3 incredible artists from India. I welcome you guys, and I would like to start.
thank you so much.
I would like to just ask you to introduce yourself because we don't really know a lot about you, but you can all see
Yes.
your artwork on the auction and also on Nawras Artist Gallery. So could you maybe tell us a little
Yes, surely.
who you are, where you come from, how you became artist?
Yes, surely. So the 3 of us are basically childhood friends, and we have had an been painting life. Like for 10 to 15 years, we have been painting continuously. So now the 3 of us, I'll just introduce us by name. So my name is Chinmay Deshpande. I'm an architect. This is my twin brother. His name is Chaitanya, and this is our dearest friend called. His name is Aniket. So the 3 of us came together just before the coronavirus outbreak came into picture. So and the 3 of us decided to start a painting studio to start doing converting our hobby into a passion, to converting into a professional part of our careers ahead. So we have taken up painting. So we have been painting continuously for one entire year now, and we are heading towards an exhibition in a coming month. So a live exhibition in our city. So that is the trajectory right now. So yeah. And we have been tying up with Nawras since we started working. So we have been in contact with Nawras. So that is the longest collaboration we have been into.
Okay. Also, I noticed that like most of your artworks in Nawras are digital, and some are
Yes.
like only one was painted by with acrylic. Could you maybe
Yes,
tell like a little bit who is doing what, and how does it work?
Yes, so surely. So we paint handmade and digital art both. Digital art requires a pad to. Basically, I work on an iPad. So I personally work on digital art, and the 3 of us together we work on large scale handmade paintings. So when it comes to acrylic mediums and when it comes to our paintings, it is a wider canvas. We work with a lot of mediums. We work with acrylic as a color, but we use cloth. We use textures from ceramic. We use threads, and maybe sometimes we sew something onto the canvas. So our palette on that material palette increases. So on handmade, we all of the 3 work, but on the digital art, I work alone. So, but we keep ideating about it, and finally, then artwork comes out of that digital work. So that is how it is going on right now.
Okay, that makes sense. Thank you so much for sharing. And I would like to ask about your inspiration. Where did you get ideas? What type of style you choose? Why you choose the style? Where you get your ideas from? You don't hear me?
There seems to be a lag in the
Connection.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Could be. So the question is, where do you get your inspiration from?
Hello. Hi. Yes.
Then should we reconnect?
Hey,
Can you hear us?
Do you hear me now?
I couldn't hear the question actually. Yes.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yes, we can hear.
Okay, so the question is where you get inspiration? What inspires the style you paint?
Okay, so majorly when the three of us work on a handmade painting, we thrive a lot on our memories. So because we are architecture students, so we have been traveling a lot for the past our entire academic, for 4 5 years. So if we collect, we retrospect and introspect a lot upon how we have traveled, what we have seen through that journeys. Then we come back onto the canvas, we think about it, we so we are not artists who paint figures or very intricate designs. We are more into abstractions. We are more into using the canvas as a as a palette for textures to be shown. So that is how we use our paints, and that is how we actually we play with that canvas a lot. Like we drive it through various kinds of processes before coming to the final piece when it comes to a handmade painting. So there are layers and layers of paints until we are all three of us are satisfied. That this is the
Basically, we try to mix things or use mixed media for the purpose of creating our artwork. Or if there is an inspiration, we just take a topic and then we work on it until the goal is achieved for our canvas to be. If the three of us are satisfied by our painting, then we think that the artwork is completed. Then we show it to the public or the public forums we are listed on, like that.
So it is the paintings, all of those handmade paintings or the digital ones are a lot about what they emote. Like the expression is very important to us. So what we feel while making the painting is what we want to be, what we want to reflect onto our audience, and we also want we want a dialogue to be going on. So the colleagues we have here usually want they comment on our artworks and we have a talk about it, how what they feel about our artwork, what what laymen feel about those artworks, because some of those are very alien to what people see every day. So we like to understand how our artworks are being received and what they feel, and then we work on it for the next one. So that is how it is going. The process is just building up right.
Okay, yeah, that's nice. Could you maybe, I see you have prepared almost all gallery behind you, and
Yes.
so are you ready to show some of your artwork live?
Yes, surely. Yes. Give us a minute. Yes.
Yeah, please go ahead and just comment some of your artworks, especially the ones that we have on the auction.
Yes, surely.
Any, just go ahead, show around.
Just for a moment.
Yeah, feel free to take your time.
So yes, just a minute.
Yes, of course.
So yeah, this is one of our the most famous painting by far. This painting is called Facade. Can you hear us? Can you hear us?
Yeah. Yeah, we can hear you and we can see you. Perfect.
Is the audio? Can you hear us?
Yes. Good.
Yes, we can start talking.
Yes. Hello. Can you hear us?
Yeah, you can go ahead and talk about your artwork.
So this is one of our most famous paintings right now. This is called The Facade. So this is a digital artwork, and this basically wants to talk about how how when you carry yourself throughout a city life or an urban life, how things reflect onto you and how you're perceived as not your own self, but as the layers that are put upon you by people and the kinds of things you try to, portray, which you are probably not. So as you can see, there is an image there, which is like a face, but which is entirely covered in different and colors, and all the suffer, the happiness and suffering all going on across that mind, all the thoughts and everything, which are covering his entire, original self. So that is the whole idea behind this artwork. Next one, we are going on to this painting. Again, is a kind of an remnants of a memory we have from visits to Kerala and other few states of India. So this is a typical landscape which you've probably seen in India, where there is a lot of vegetation, deciduous vegetation around a landscape, and then we have put on colors and layers of time as winds pass through, as a cloud would pass through an entire journey throughout the landscape. So the lines you can see on the painting are basically clouds passing over the landscape for a long time. So they are like leaving out a trail on the landscape. That is how this artwork functions. Another painting which we have on Nawras, you can show that painting. So this is another one. This painting received a lot of good response. This painting is called The Retreat. So this painting again talks about the timelessness of a landscape. So here what you see is the clouds and the landscape are all shown in an entire daytime, starting with various ranges of shadows and shades to moving winds and moving wind patterns and waters and colors, all in a flow. So the endless flow of time is something which we want to achieve in that that work of digital art. So that is how the journey is proceeding right now. The next painting here is called is based on an idea of an iceberg. So it's an iceberg coming out of its out of the sea, gushing, the sea is gushing around it. Again, this was our first digital painting. So this was like the beginning of the whole thought, where an moving landscape is captured inside a digital art. So this is one of those examples. Moving ahead, I can show you one other painting. So we can go on to this one. I hope you can all see this painting. This painting is basically again based on some memories we have. So this painting is basically based on a memory of a pilgrim we have in India. So there's a huge pilgrimage around a particular deity. So around the Narmada river we have in India. So we have tried to capture the emotion of that entire rally and that pilgrimage into a small into a painting with smaller details. So you can see there are smaller humans and pilgrims drawn on this canvas here. So the entire entire pilgrimage, entire parade is shown here. Then you have a cloth which we have attached here to give the feeling of how the river must be, river must be touching the sea, and river must be touching the land bed. And then we have a sort of an human figure looking down upon the whole pilgrimage which is going on. And if you see on the top of that canvas, if you can just focus here, I hope you can see this. There is a faded image of a temple here. So that temple is basically where the pilgrims are headed. So throughout the pilgrim, they are trying. All the people are trying to think of the God which they are finally trying to reach to, and that is how their memory is showing off this. Their memory is forming this image in the sky of the temple, and it all of these we are trying to capture all these emotions onto the canvas. Then we move ahead to this particular painting. This painting is called The Beach.
Could you just like really fast just tell, is it digital or not? Because some of your paintings are
so yes.
Yeah.
So this is a handmade artwork. So this painting is handmade. It has all the textures and colors you can feel from, like there's a cloth attached to it. So, and there are canvas, there is a acrylic on canvas basically with a cloth. This one is again a handmade painting. The ones I showed you before were both of them were digital paintings. So this painting is called The Beach. If you can see the details, this painting is basically talks about how a land of an urban city who has a beach around it, meets the sea or meets the ocean. So this is entire the portion of the beach and how it meets the a silent wave hitting the beach. Then you have an urban strip here, and then you have the rest of the city showing its colors and various layers. That is how we try to clad our canvas. This painting has gone through a lot of handwork process. Basically, it has around 7 to 8 layers of color, and then washing it and again coloring it, and that is how the final output has been achieved. So if you can see, as deeper you go and see keenly into this canvas, you can see different layers coming out of the whole experience. This is a handmade painting. Another one listed painting on Nawras is this painting is called the Cityscapes. Can you see the painting?
Yes, perfect.
Yes. So just a second, we'll just pull it out. So this painting is called Cityscapes. So again, the same idea of an urban setting with the landscape, with the textures of that city, where it meets a water body, which is probably not that great, but the meeting point is shown by different textures here. If you can see, we have weaved into the canvas with a textured surface. Then we have put ceramic and textures onto the canvas with acrylic paints. And then here, if you can see, the landscape again shows that there is a landscape way further ahead into the city, going uphill into the mountains, which are probably ice cape. Then you have a city layer of the cityscapes. Then again a layer of semi-urban settlements, and then you have a layer of river and water down there. So this is how this painting is layered to make an entire expression of a particular urban setting. Moving ahead, we have another one of our favorite paintings here. So this painting is called the urban scene. So if you can see, there is a continuous line of style, and there is a kind of the dialogue we have had with our paintings till now, which revolves a lot around what we have seen throughout our journeys. So this is reflected. We have tried to reflect that onto the painting a lot. So if you see, this painting is again called the urban scene. So this painting has basically different shades and colors and lights, expressing different parts of an artwork, expressing different types of settings in a urban scape, different times of the day. You can see shimmering lights somewhere. You can see the depths of a ghetto somewhere. You can see some festives at one corner, and then you can see a very grim, very lush green surface on the other hand. This is how we perceived the urban scene in our first dialogue. Then we went through painting it for around like 15 days or 20 days, with all the three of us putting our hands and efforts into making this work. So if you zoom into the artwork, you can see these layers, so you can feel them, because we have like put a lot of layers into every piece, which actually stand out out of the canvas, making a statement. That has been a quite important journey for us. Lastly, I will I will run you
So
through.
basically, each of our paintings takes around 2 to 3 weeks, because the idea behind the painting, basically we have a simple thought, and then we three sit together and we just try to figure out what colors and what textures or what materials we can use to make the painting through. And in the process, if we feel that we should improvise or something, we do it likewise. That we are not strict to a process, we try to experiment with. So that's why each of our artworks are different from one another, but they have a same essence of, you can feel the rawness of the color and the depth of the color when you see it live.
Exactly.
So basically, what happens is, when you see it live, you can see the effort which we have put in while making the canvas.
So as you can see, this is our latest piece. This is quite different from what we have already seen. So this painting basically looks like an image taken out from a Google's satellite image probably. So this tries to emote the landscape, how a desert and a river and a lush green landscape probably meets one another. If I could just change the ratio of the whole thing. Yes, you can see it better now.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, so okay, thank you. So if I just zoom into this work, you can see all the details that flow through this canvas. There is a river meeting a lush green farmland, and there is a storm coming out of the whole thing. And then you have this desert that meets the whole landscape here. You can see there is a depth to this canvas. So it's not a plain canvas. There is a layer of ceramic to it. there is a layer of lot of color to it. So there is a, there are different depths to this same canvas, and then we have detailed out certain sections with ink. So if you can see, these portions are basically detailed out with a lot of ink, graphic pens, and sketching some certain details onto the painting to make it look like an actual geolocation mark. This is how the current painting stands. This is like the latest creation. This was created, I guess, last week. So we all have, like, this painting has gone through a lot of processes. Again, like around 10 layers. I don't know how much paint has gone through into it. So yes, and finally there's a big painting here. So just so yeah, this painting again talks about all those layers. So this was a commissioned piece for a, for the house we are living in. So this painting had to, sum up a lot of textures. They asked for a lot of textures from us, and we tried to deliver it to them. So this painting has a lot of, palettes and textures. This was like an experimental piece where the concept was on the second part, but the first part was to create a lot of textures from the same kind of, tone of red and tints of other things. But to add that aesthetical element which we all like, we have added in a piece of linen here. If you can see, the linen goes all the way down from the canvas till the blast point here. So you can see the linen working out here. So when the canvas and the color and the linen meet each other, the whole, the amalgamation is very unique, and that is how what we try to experiment from the very beginning. So right now we are at a stage where we have just given up all boundaries of, working inside a canvas with just the colors, and we have come into a part where we work with textures, with concrete, with cement, whatnot, whatever comes to mind and suits us. So that is how we are working right now. Finally, we can end on this one.
Basically the idea of this painting was to showcase that not it is not essential that when we are painting some artwork that we are only limited to one texture or one particular element. So basically we have used around, I guess, 20 to 25 textures, and they all come together so nicely when you see it in person. The scale of the painting and the scale of the painting and the warmth of the color, basically we have used very red and brown tones. So basically, when you see it in person, so it comes very alive because of the cloth. Because the cloth is playing a very neutral part in the painting, and the textures are overlapping them. But the main significant idea is to just show people that what magic we can create with textures and by simply using one color. Because the color is only red, and we have just mixed the shades of different brown or maybe, but the main palette of the painting is red. So basically, that was the whole idea, to just showcase people that what we can do with textures, and simply if you give us one color, we can come up with probably a better art piece next time. That was
finally we can show you these small pieces. These are like these are pieces where we try to leisure out and work on the detail of a material and how acrylics can themselves show textures to us. So these are a set of 6 canvases working 3 in blue and 3 in yellow. If you can, I just zoom inside this painting, so you can see a lot of texture. So this is a 3-dimensional texture playing out of on a canvas. So you can just look at this. Yes, so you can see a better view of like how the texture is playing into the canvas with different shades and shadows. So another one is this. And see how these layers, we have just tried to use a single color on a canvas and the same color to add on textures to it, and to just tell people and to have a dialogue where a simple indentation on the surface can create such an interesting story behind it. So this painting looks like a probably a geolocation of a farm or something. Just to look at it, it has all those strands and patterns covering out on the square. So this is how different pieces of work out. This here blue one. So this one is again interesting. It looks like a chakra or something, an aura, aura of something revolving around the canvas. So this is hand done. This is like a finger rolling out on the canvas to make this texture on a square surface. And finally, these are like 6 pieces So this is another one of the same series. So they complete a set. So we are just created to, and the last piece, like this, like actually the last piece, just to complete our journey. This piece is very special because this is created out of turmeric. If you know, turmeric is a kind of spice used in India, widely used in India. So we had a lot of turmeric one day, and we just experimented with it. It was a waste piece of canvas. It was not a good piece of canvas, so it was a wasted piece, and just put it to use one day. And if you can see the so this black colored is also turmeric made with black acrylic mixed with acrylic color, and this yellow one is also white and yellow acrylic with turmeric. So if you can see, we have drawn details onto it. So we have drawn turmeric is a very auspicious and very important spice used in India, in Indian traditions, in Hindu traditions majorly. So we have tried to demarcate a location where we can see temples and the valley behind the temples and rivers gushing around and farmlands and people walking around it. So this entire landscape has been carved out of that turmeric to create that ethnic experience of how setting of a village basically revolves around traditions and cultures that are based in it. So this was another important piece, which is very well acclaimed. Contextually here it was very important because it used turmeric in the first place. So this was one other favorite piece of ours. So that is it for right now. We have all these paintings. I'll just turn the cameras in the other way.
Okay, thank you so much. This is really great to that you are showing all your artwork and sharing with us your private gallery. So this is incredible opportunity to meet you and to see where you work and all your artworks. I think even more works than we have in gallery, which is amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. And I have another question. So that would be just, could you maybe tell a little bit more about your future plans as a gallery?
Yes, just a second.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Yes. We are all attending. Yes. So right now we are heading to an exhibition in this backyard where we are currently working. So we have a huge backyard here in this house. So we are converting that entire backyard into an exhibition space. Because we are designers already, so we are trying to put this all under a budget where we can use a budget limited, the cost saved exhibition to display all these works. People because of the lockdown, people just got to see all these works on Instagram. So to alleviate that pressure and create a dialogue with the painting directly, we wanted to do an exhibition finally. So it has come down to this month's end, and probably we'll have an exhibition in 2 weeks.
Basically, the whole idea was that when the lockdown was going on and when we posted the pictures of our artwork, so people were eager to see the paintings live. But because the situation was not favorable in our condition, so we just arranged an exhibition where people can see and feel the depth of the paintings and see what kind of effort and what kind of textures we use while painting, so that they get a good idea of what we actually do. Because pictures can't do justice
to what the canvas actually is. So that is why we want to exhibit them one-on-one, have a conversation with the artwork directly.
Because it is so hard to explain people your artwork through maybe a small paragraph on Instagram or sort of when we put on mail or something like that. But when we can interact with them, so we can tell them about each and every corner of the canvas and how we executed the whole painting and what is the basically meaning of the painting. Because when we put it on Instagram, people are eager to listen. People are eager that what the basic idea is. And when I'm talking to, I can explain you better. But if I mail you something, then you will probably not get the idea of what the painting is. So basically, it is a one-on-one conversation which we want to have with the people coming into our exhibition, so that they will have a better idea and basically the feel of the painting. Because if you cannot see the painting live, so basically that was the whole idea, to make people feel. Sorry.
Okay, that's very nice idea of exhibition. Actually, I'm very impressed with your, you know, how deep you feel art and how deeply you connect with people through art. I think it's beautiful
Yes.
and really inspiring. And,
Thank you.
Thank you.
knowing, yeah, knowing the culture you come from, so with deep spirituality, I think it's natural
Yes.
for you.
Yes, quite natural actually. Yes, thank you.
So what other, like, what's your long-term goal after exhibition? How you gonna expand the studio?
So basically, our the one studio is basically a bespoke art studio. So we are not creating artwork for selling, but the main goal is to create a journey that people will remember for their lifetime. If someone is giving us art for when we commission art for someone, so our goal is not to just give them a piece of canvas painted in some color. So basically, the journey, what we are going to give to the people, or what they are going to experience through us, is the major goal of us. The long term goal is that our artwork should reach every corner of the world or something like that. That's the basic goal of every studio when we start. But what we think is what basically artists sometimes misses out is the journey and the presentation of our painting. If you cannot explain the painting you have made, then I don't think it is very nice to sell the painting, because if the buyer is not basically the person who has given the commission for the art is not convinced, then how we can give it to it? Because we have put so many time hours and the basically work hours to create the painting. And if I can give that experience to them, that will be very crucial. What we think that the experience is crucial, because we have a very firm belief in what we do. So basically, if the people who are joining with us also feel the same, that's a win-win situation for us.
And secondly, on a fun part of this thing, we are going to travel. So after this exhibition, we are basically going to travel to locations like a road trip thing, and we're just going to go to locations, take all our art together, and just travel and paint across the journeys we do, and then come back and do an exhibition probably 6 months ahead of time from today. So that is a wider perspective right now. We'll just go take our all our ingredients, go to places, stop wherever we want, paint, and come back come back with probably a soil, the textures, the stones we find there, and bring all that back to the entire piece.
Basically, we want to incorporate our journey and road trip into our art piece, so that people can connect to it while we do all that. So they should feel that they are part of the journey we are going on to. Basically, that's the whole idea, and we are planning on it. Probably we will do it in next month or so,
after this exhibition.
After the exhibition is successful.
Okay, wow, this is actually very, very, very impressive. And I love the idea of sharing your journey and experiences. I can't wait to follow your journey. And I think you're gonna be maybe sharing it with Nawras Artists, the gallery that's representing you. Am I right? Okay.
I think there is some connection issue again.
Yeah, I can see
I
you.
can upload just a second.
Just a second. I think there is some problem with the internet.
Yeah, now I can see you very well. Okay.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay.
Yes.
So, just regarding your journey, are you going to be sharing your journey with Nawras? How to follow your journey?
Yes, so we will be continuously, posting about the journey, posting about things we find, the people we meet onto our Instagram platform, sharing it with Nawras, because we have been collaborating for such a long time. So we'll continuously keep up. The whole part is not everyone can afford, or not everyone has the the luxury to afford a journey. The time, not everyone has that kind of time with them. So if we have that time, then we want to share the journey which we do. To share those experiences, share those art related conversations with people. That is the whole part, to make people a part of what we do, to involve them into the canvas more, rather than just being an audience to it. So that is very crucial right now. So together that we can create a dialogue moving ahead. Probably people can suggest us to move where and what to do. in the future. So that is how this conversation has to build up. So we'll keep people posted continuously about the trails of our journeys ahead.
Okay, that's beautiful, and thank you for sharing everything with us. So now I would like to ask your opinion, like honest opinion about Nawras Artists. They are representing you. What do you like? How do you like them?
So actually, these are like Nawras is the only like the first platform which
we were listed on.
Basically. So it's very dear to us, and we have been collaborating like for like all the entire almost a year
we have been with Nawras, and the experience has been phenomenal
because they keep sharing our artworks to really good places. Like we came into introduction with you just because of Nawras. So that link could not have been established just on our own basis.
Yes.
So yeah, a few days back we had an exhibition in Sweden. Two of our artworks, which we see facade, and another of our digital artwork was exhibited in Sweden just because Nawras took that initiative and took us to that level of a platform. So few three guys from India exhibiting in Sweden in just 3 months of their art project is a huge thing for us. So that was very crucial. So that played a huge part. Nawras is playing a huge part into initiating us to different platforms actually. That is great.
Yes, I'm also very grateful for Nawras for organizing our meeting. And
yes, exactly. We are too.
It's incredible to meet you, to see your project, and and to discover all the deep meanings behind your artwork.
Thank you so much.
So to finish, I would like to ask you, maybe you want to add something I haven't asked, and you find it important to share with audience and everyone else.
So it's not on a sore note, but right now, in the context we are living in India, so artists are finding a lot of heat towards their expression of their emotions, and their thoughts are being put into boundaries of political and other kind of notions. So we are trying to bypass those notions eventually, because it is very difficult to take a headstand approach towards all these very critical emotions which we have in the surroundings. So right now we are just trying to create a community where discussion is allowed on an expression onto a canvas or onto a poem or onto any literature or art or any other platform. So we want to keep that discussion open-ended, not having boundaries and not creating everything from a debate to an argument is a very easy transition. So we just want to keep it down to a debate, not transit into a argument per se. So that is our goal where we want to go, and that is how people are struggling in India right now. As artists, people are struggling to have their own expression. So probably we want to stand in with those people, and make have a say in things.
Yeah, I really appreciate your honesty, and it's very interesting to hear how things are in India, because I think in general in the world what's happening now, everyone is struggling to show the art in general. So,
Exactly.
That's
yeah, so thank you so much for being part of this interview series, to being the first ones to launch.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, it's really my pleasure to meet you, and I hope we will work and talk more in the future.
Yes, surely. Yes.
Yeah, so I thank you, and I thank you, Nawras, for this opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.